Hey everybody, welcome back to Friendsim. We're playing and we're gonna go hang out with I almost called him Who Is This? I'm so used to calling him Who Is This? Just cause that, you know, he didn't have a name before. Karako. His name is adorable. Karako Pirate.
It's Piero.
Well, probably, but just Karako Piero. Ooh, pretty. Oh, right, he's a boy guy. Having learned the dangers of using the public thoroughfares, you've taken to dodging down byways and skulking in rear areas, trying to spy out individuals who look ripe for friendship while avoiding the more criminally insane denizens. Just now, you're following a winding footpath through the undergrowth surrounding a neighborhood where the local hives are spaced far apart. You came creeping along this footpath for safety. You should have known better. The undergrowth here is like most of the other life forms in Alternia, evolved to ruthlessly purge the gene pool of the weak and reasonable. Coiled, spring-loaded stalks with foot-long thorns flank writhing bushes with razor-edged leaves, which in turn crowd tentacled flora with toothed lobes oozing liquid that hisses and smokes when it touches the ground. Extreme caution is needed, just as it's needed in every circumstance on this planet. While your time on Alternia has gotten you accustomed to injuries, you still shrink from being impaled on sprung thorns and dissolved in acid. What the fuck did I just read?
There's a bunch of crazy plants here that could kill you, and although you're used to being in danger, you'd still rather not.
Okay. You should have known that eventually you would have come up against the local flora, so you proceed discreetly, avoiding prison...
Poison? You avoid prison. Prison fronds.
Avoiding poison fronds and trying not to step on trigger roots. But suddenly your
Your vegetative focus.
I'm trying to do a good narration, but I can't read. I'm illiterate as fuck.
Yeah.
Vegetative?
Vegetative?
But suddenly your vegetative focus is interrupted. You hear footsteps on the path, and then around the corner comes a small figure. Oh! Its face and horns are painted with smudged black and white marks. That's gray and white. What are you talking about? Despite its diminutive physique, it has some of the most impressive horns you've seen on any troll. Why are you calling Who Is This it? What? Hey, this troll has feet.
Wow.
Then the small figure sees you too and is so startled that it jumps a foot, impaling its horns in an overhanging tree branch and sticking there so that its small legs pump helplessly in the air.
Honk!
You beg the small person's pardon and assure him that you were fully as startled as he. You go on to explain that you are not dangerous, but that even if you were, you would not want to come to strife with even a small person with horns of that size.
Honk!
That should be a question, honk.
Okay. I mean, I thought it was, but... Huh?
Is all he says is honk?
That'd be great, but probably not.
Yes, you'll be happy to help him down as long as he promises not to attack you with the many bladed weapons that are stuffed into his belt, or with the dozen cans of inexpensive.
Inexpensive?
I know how to pronounce it, I just can't. Of an inexpensive soft drink held in... Oh my... Bandoliers?
No, it's bandoliers.
Is it?
No, it's bandoliers.
and bandoliers crossing his chest. I'm trying to do good narration. I'm trying, man. It strikes you suddenly that a neighborly gesture like helping someone whose horns are stuck in a tree branch can scarcely fail to kindle the light of friendship. You dare to hope that this will be the case now. Edging forward, you get close enough to see that around the small clown's neck hangs a dog tag or ID necklace. You tilt your head and cane your neck to read the writing on it. Karako Piro. If lost, call Bronya or Sama. What? Really? Okay. Suddenly, this all makes sense. This Karako Piro must have... That rhymes. Karako Piro.
Yeah.
Must have been one of Bronya's reject runt wrigglers who, having grown to childhood under her tender care, has gone out into the world to seek his fortune.
Why is main character so, like, scientific this episode?
I don't know. That would account for his small size, short legs, and small stature relative to his horns. You eagerly pull out your palm husk, happy for an excuse to pester your old friend. We've got zero signal out here. You wonder if the surrounding vegetation eats palm husk signals just as it looks like it eats everything else. You disappointedly slip your palm husk back into your pocket.
Honk.
Yeah, now it has bracket things. What's up with that? You apologize for the delay, explaining that you were surprised to find that you appear to have an acquaintance in common, whom you hope you will have time to discuss later. It's just extra weird because of how I'm doing my voice.
Yeah.
So it's like super.
Main character just got super sophisticated.
Like I wasn't trying to do that, but
he's being all wordy and shit this time.
Yeah, just his own phrasing combined with this voicing is like weird.
Yeah. For now.
Blah, blah. All right. For now, you are ready, willing, and hopefully able to help him down. You hope he won't be Actually, this is kind of like how I voiced Bronya, now that I think about it.
Kinda.
You hope he won't be offended if you slip behind him first. It's not that you object to bladed weapons or those who stuff dozens of them in their belts, but you feel that the ones he's wearing could ruin your look if buried in your torso, however unintentionally. You edge past the weapons, being careful also not to touch the spring thorns growing at the edge of the path or their trigger roots. Once you're behind Karako, you grasp his horns firmly and pull, withdrawing them from the tree branch, and allowing him to drop lightly to the ground. Honk! Literally all you say is honk.
I'm down, because I did not have a good voice for him. Also, you just grabbed a hold of his horns, bro.
You will cease talking at once.
Okay.
This is a child.
They're all children.
Okay, but this is specifically a child.
Or it's just... Anyway.
You tell him that he's very welcome. Then there's a moment of awkward silence as you try to think of something else to say. Fortunately, your new potential friend is not as devoid of social graces as you are, and gets the conversational ball rolling himself.
Huh?
Why is that so adorable?
Because you didn't know I could honk so many different ways.
You explain that you are indeed a stranger in these parts and that you actually don't fit into any of the hemospectrum categories. Wild, right? Although not quite as strange as you used to be, you like to think. That fucking... You're really starting to blend in with the local color.
Huh?
Well, you'd rather not exhibit your blood just now. You're a You're a couple of quarts low due to the robust conditions of life on Alternia, some of which you have recently had the honor of encountering. What?
You've lost a bit of blood lately. You don't need to lose no more.
But you had the honor of encountering something bad. I did.
Honk. It's like, fine. I want to see your blood anyway.
He's just adorable, man. You sympathize. Slinking along these hidden paths in the Alternian woods can be tough on the morale. The smell alone is enough to make strong men weep, and the vegetation looks like it was designed by the Marquis.
I think so.
Marquis de Sade. The Marquis de Sade. Not that he knows who the Marquis de Sade is. Frickin'. You can't help but feel that it would be so much better if one only had a skulk buddy. You continue. How wonderful it would be to travel these dusky lanes with a kindred spirit, a twin soul, a fellow traveler, an intimate crony. You're such an expert on friend synonyms by now.
Synonyms?
Synonyms. Fucking.
Honk?
No, you haven't met anyone like that either, but you would certainly like to. Your new potential friend is obviously thinking seriously about this issue, so you back off, giving him space. You pretend to be deeply immersed in studying one of the razor-sharp leaves on one of the writhing bushes beside the path. You aren't one to force yourself on others or try to unduly influence their friendship decisions. Are you not? Okay, well, maybe you forced yourself on others in the past and tried to influence their friendship decisions. Maybe you I'm gonna cry. Maybe you've even done this a lot. But you've recently evolved as a person. And that's really startling, honestly. I mean, I'm down for it, but just... You're literally a stick figure. I don't know. I mean, this is a Homestuck thing after all, but... You're literally a stick figure. You now know that friendship is something that has to come authentically from within. Friendship is spontaneous. Real friendships sprouts naturally from the soil of mutual respect. The best friendships grow and ripen over years, and are not rushed or forced. Of course, you've only known this small person for about 5 minutes, but you have to start ripening sometime. This is a route with a guy character, but I'm doing all the talking, man. You're reflecting thus on the theme of friendship when allowed... How the fuck am I supposed to pronounce that? When allowed pours suddenly from the sky above you. Oh, a thunder noise. I guess. I don't know. It's a crackling, sizzling sound like a chitinous... Chitinous?
Chitinous?
Like a chitinous thing with too many legs struggling in a hot frying pan. That's not what thunder sounds like. What the fuck are you talking about? Karako... Man, this is his expressions, man.
Yeah.
Anyway. Karako jumps so violently that he nearly gets his horn stuck in the tree again. Looking up, you see a floating metal object, vaguely troll-shaped, but huge, faceless, metal, with numerous sets of lightning bolt-shaped horns coming out of its head and neck. Is that supposed to be a drone? What the fuck are you talking about? It's also not a very sparkling conversationalist. There, he remarks in a flat, echoing blare. It elaborates further. Do it. Run! A drone! Leap to your proto-friend's aid! Okay, so it is a drone.
Drones just come in lots of weird shapes and sizes, apparently.
And they apparently speak in noises.
Sometimes.
That's just weird. Anyway, Run! Run away! Fly like the wind!
Yes. Just ditch the kid. You run and walk.
Oh, I thought I was telling him to run.
It's a drone! Even the Alternium badasses you've hung out with have been terrified of drones. Wait, sorry.
I thought I was telling him to run.
No.
Aw. Now I feel bad.
You should feel bad.
Up close, it's one of the most terrifying things you've ever seen, and it's making noises which you didn't know they even did, and which probably means something sinister. You just ditched that small child. It'd be nice if the text said something like "ditch the child." I don't know why I thought it did. I thought it'd be like yelling "scatter!" Everybody, go! Run! Ow! Anyway.
I mean, the implication was pretty clear, because the other option was help the kid.
Yeah, the other thing was like stand between the kid and the drone, so you both would just stand there like a couple of idiots. Anyway, you race at top speed down the twisting path, focusing your senses to the breaking point to avoid trigger roots, razor leaves, and acid spots. At first, you hear the pattering of small feet and running behind you, but as you redouble your speed, the pattering falls back and after a while is lost in the distance. This is making me very sad. You sprint for what seems to be a lifetime before you finally catch your foot on a trigger root and go flying through the air, barely missing being sliced into 100 pieces of tumbling ham by the barbed spring vine that lashes across the path only inches behind you. You land in the dirt, wind knocked out of you, but otherwise unhurt. You lie there, catching your breath and waiting, but nothing happens. No enormous metal monster whizzes down the path to impale you. No small clown-faced individual overtakes you on his short legs. Finally, after nothing happens, you pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You're alone on the path, and no sound of either friend or potential friend or foe can be heard. Does that mean that the kid died?
Not necessarily.
No birds sing, which is probably good. You imagine that any birds native to this forest would probably sing by croaking up putrid sludge, and that the sludge would be poisonous or radioactive. But leaving aside the character of the local fauna, what should you do? Keep on down the path, putting more distance between yourself and the drone? Or should you go back to see if Karako is okay? You waffle for a while, then decide to go back. You sneak back along the path. You sneak a long, long way. But however far you go, there's no signs of either Karako or the drone. You don't know whether the drone picked Karako up and took him away, or disemboweled him and scattered the fragments, or whether Karako leapt into the undergrowth and hid or escaped, or what. One way or another, you're all alone again on this path through shit-smell forest.
Game over.
I didn't...
We're doing so good tonight.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. That's not what I thought was gonna... I literally thought I was telling him to run and that we were... I don't know, man.
Yeah?
I don't like this. This makes me sad.
Yeah. Oh well.
Anyway. Right, so... I should rescue you! Tiny clown boy! What did that text that I just clicked even just say?
Leap to your proto-friend's aid.
Right. That's what it says right there. You leap to your proto-friend's aid. Thinking quickly, you push Karako against a large rock that juts out of the undergrowth nearby and jump in front of him, shielding him from the drone with your body. You then pretend to be leaning against the rock and in an attitude of tranquil repose. Several of the bladed weapons in Karako's belt poke you in the ass, but you don't let this show on your face. Instead, you yawn elaborately and check your wristwatch. You don't have a wristwatch, but you don't think drones know what a wristwatch is anyway. You pretend to smoke a non-existent cigarette. Again, you're not giving anything away because drones don't know what cigarettes are either. But the drone has apparently taken an interest in you. It floats down between the trees and undergrowth and hovers above the path several meters from where you're pretending to relax against a rock after a long day of hiking through scenic shit-smell forest. It's quite a terrifying sight, actually. The drone observes you soullessly, making Karako jump so that several of your internal organs are threatened. However, you maintain what you believe the local populace would call a stiff upper whistle pillow. Whistle pillow?
Is that accurate?
I don't think so. The drone's blank metal head studies you. Or it could be studying something in the opposite direction, or even taking the drone equivalent of a piss. You can't really tell from its expression because it has no features to make expressions with. The examination or non-examination continues for some time. Why is the text so small? Just split it between two.
They're trying not to waste your time.
This does. But your diminutive potential friend is well hidden from view, and after a while, evidently concluding that you are an inanimate object that makes unaccountable gestures with its wrists and fingers, the drone floats upward again, gaining speed until, with a dreary ow, it whizzes off somewhere to find other hapless, non-standard citizens to euthanize. Lack of breath again. Give me a sec.
Okay.
Also just, so does that mean that, like, okay, so your track record was gotten rid of?
Yeah.
So you don't have any crimes in the system against you or whatever?
Yeah.
So, does that mean that they won't just kill you just for being weird looking?
Maybe.
Because, I mean, other people have accused you of being coal bait, so, I don't know. When it's gone, you stand away from the rock and rub several sore places that have been pierced by bladed weapons. You turn to Karako to... Karako was in all caps a minute ago, and I thought about commenting on it, but then I got distracted because I was reading. But now it's not, and I'm just like, what? Why did he shout it then? I don't even think he was shouting it. Anyway. You turn to Karako to comment on the recent fervor, but stop when you see the look he is directing at you. A warm and admiring look. An affectionate and esteeming look. A look of friendship. Your first impulse is to throw your arms around him and lean in, but on second thought, remembering his pants arsenal, you put out your hand for a warm handshake. Victory is so close. But before you can seal the deal in this sweet friendship transaction, you hear disturbance further down the path. God, can't the narrative chill for one single moment? Especially a moment when you're about to consummate a beautiful friendship? You turn to look. The footsteps, several sets of them, get nearer, and around the bend come 3 figures. Do we know the figures? 3 figures wearing swimming outfits, lots of gold jewelry. Swimming outfits, lots of gold jewelry, and
I'm very unfamiliar.
Insouciant.
I think it's insouciant, but I have no idea what that means.
Stupid word expressions. 3 of the figures with grills on their necks and gills, not grills, shut up. Gills on their necks and small stylized fins on their face. So sea dwellers.
Yay, finally.
Oh man, is it possible you finally happened upon a group of the legendary sea dwellers? They stop short when they see you in Karako, obviously startled. They study you. You study them. Then Finhead Interloper 1 in a one piece and diamond earrings. In a one piece and diamond earrings, whispers to her companions, and all 3 burst out laughing. What? Finhead Interloper 2 in a violet wetsuit and... This one didn't mention color. Anyway. Finhead Interloper 2 in a violet wetsuit and rings slaps her thigh, and Finhead Interloper 3 in checkered swimming trunks holds his sides. Okay, fun fact, I thought that the Violet Bloods were all guys. But I think I thought that because the Fuchsia Bloods are all girls. So I guess, anyway. So yeah, I guess Violet Bloods can be girls just fine.
Just one more thing this game is retconned from the original source material.
I mean, the original source material only had 2 of each individual blood cast you ever saw. But, friggin'. Like, I know all the Jades are supposed to be girls. Like, I don't know if the Fuchsias are all girls just because, like, there was originally only 2 of them, and with the most recent development, there's only, like, 3 of them. And this isn't even telling us if any of these are Fuchsias, but I think there's only 1 Fuchsia on the planet at a time, and that's Trizza, so they should all be Violet Bloods. Anyway. So that... Point is, Jade Bloods are all girls. Fuchsias might be all girls. I don't think there's a blood cast that's just exclusively guys if Violet Bloods aren't exclusively guys.
Sure there is. The Goron bloodcast.
The fuck are you talking about?
Gorons from The Legend of Zelda. Exclusively male.
That... Anyway. Part of you is relieved. Laughter drives out the devil and is the best medicine, and in any event is better than homicidal mania. Is laughter drives out the devil an expression? What the fuck is that talking about?
I don't know.
On the other hand, this laughter isn't friendly. It's cold, mocking, and supercilious?
Mm-hmm.
Supercilious?
Supercilious.
The fuck?
Condescending.
Okay. These sea dwellers are obviously laughing at you, not with you. Aw. And don't make Karako upset.
He'll murder you. He'll stab your parents.
We can pull in Game Grumps references out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because murdering your parents is exclusively a Game Grumps concept.
You notice Karako's cheeks flushing purple under his face paint, and his jaws clenching. However, he just stares with stony dignity at the interlopers. This just makes them laugh harder. The first sea dweller says, is the first sea dweller a boy or a girl?
The girl. The first 2 were girls, the third one was the boy.
Okay. What are you 2 supposed to be? Shrimp Cassidy and this Squamous kid? Says her second companion.
A Culbait minnow and his mutated soft-shell crab.
Says her third. I'm his Lucius. Then obviously.
Obviously.
Which one of us is supposed to read that?
Oh.
It looks like the Minnow Mall one went down on the clown, causing it to spurt out the other way. Excuse you? What the fuck did you just say? Causing it to spurt out the other way. I'm... Beg your fucking pardon. The Sea Dweller's laughter is redoubled. You continue expressionless at these insults, but to your dismay, Karako's face is taking on a harsh, glowering look. You guess that such a tiny dude has probably been victimized by bullies his whole life. And as you happen to know, there are no bullies like Alternian bullies.
Honk.
Every time he does something different with the honks, like with different, like, text things, I'm just like... It's not like those are anyone's quirks specifically that I know of. I don't think. But I'm just like, whose quirks are you using? That's just... I don't know, man. You tell him to let them talk all the shit they want. Don't let them provoke him. They're just trying to get him to do something stupid. If he doesn't react, they'll get bored and go away.
Honk.
No! Remember that drone. It's probably still out here somewhere. Touch a scale on their heads and you could... Touch a scale on their heads and you could be rendered into mother grub feedstock. Hey, bottom feeders. No whispering when you're in the presence of your... Bathers? Bathers? The fuck? What? And you, little boy...
Buoy.
Little buoy? Right, and you, little buoy, put a respectful expression on your recognition surface. I'm pretty sure trolls know the word face. Recognition surface? Be more like your friend, the slender manatee over there. Slenderman?
Yeah, you're the Slenderman.
Dude, we're out in a forest.
Yeah.
We could totally jank these guys. In fact, why is it that you two are still... I hate words.
Porpoindicular. It's
is
a
that
combination
a fish
of...
pun?
Yes, it's porpoise and perpendicular.
Fuck your fish puns!
And bathers was betters. Combined with bath or bathe.
Oh, okay. That I was so fucking confused. Okay. That's what
It's
combined
porpoise
with porpoise
and perpendicular.
In fact, why is it that you two are still perpendicular? In the presence of sea dwellers, you should be bowed at right anglers. The first sea dweller seems to have an affinity for cheesy ocean puns. You bow to the sea dwellers. You have your dignity, but you also like not getting killed. Oh, no, no. Turn those eyes back orangey yellow. Cease. Stop. Please chill. Karako remains stubbornly upright, his face getting angrier and purpler by the moment. Purpler isn't a word, it's more purple.
Who cares?
The bladed weapons in his belt jingle from his enraged trembling. Oh, see the little clownfish? He's getting angry. Looks like he's gonna shit his pants. Hey, Karako, can I borrow your knife? What did I tell you about your face, boy? You didn't say buoy that time. What's up with that? Didn't your Lucius teach you anything? I doubt he even has a Lucius. A self-respecting Lucius would never let a shrimp like that out of the hive. Unless his Lucius is just as defective. Okay, I don't... Ugh. Also, why is Karako capitalized again? What?
Don't know.
The Lucius cracks are too much for Karako. Ignoring your hissed warnings, he suddenly leaps, snarling into the air, draws bladed weapons from his belt in each hand, and hurls towards the sea dwellers. Dude, the text is like... It's like it's not capitalizing and uncapitalizing, but it's like it... I guess the font size
is changing.
Yeah, dude, it's like weird.
Yeah, and like some of it's getting bolded and then unbolded to offset it slightly.
Are you sure that's not just it growing and shrinking in size, or?
No, I'm like, look at the H and the O right here. I'm pretty sure it's just the H keeps getting bolded and then unbolded.
I don't know. Anyway, grab him by the coattails and try to keep him from precipitating a disaster, leap into the fray, and then comfort and support.
And you want to pick the wrong one again.
Well, if I'm gonna pick the wrong one, let's go get killed. I guess.
Really?
Against 3 sweets.
I don't know what sea dwellers do. Aside from dwell in the sea.
Don't you remember Polypa, like, she killed a sea dweller, but she was like, talking about how hard they are to kill, and she had a poison dagger, and it was like, it was a huge deal, man.
No, I don't remember.
I mean,
and maybe his dagger's a poison.
Technically, well, true. And technically, purple blood is right under violet blood on the hema spectrum, so Karako might have a chance against 1 or 2 of them, maybe, depending on how well trained he is, but he's also a little kid, so I'm just...
I mean, you're surrounded by a prickly forest of traps and danger, so...
That's true, but...
I don't know. I don't think you could stop him. So, I don't know. I don't know. Go for whatever you think, I guess.
I think we're gonna get our asses handed to us.
Okay.
You leap into the fray to lend... You leap into the fray to lend comfort and support. You would have counseled Karako to turn the other cheek, to keep turning cheek after cheek until the sea dwellers got fed up and went away. But now that things have heated up, you're not allowed to. You're not about to let down the side.
What?
So,
What happened with this last sentence?
I don't know, man. Karako crashes into the sea dwellers, his bladed weapons whirling like a blender. You scamper close behind him and kick someone in the shin. It hurts your foot, but doesn't seem to have any other effect. These sea dwellers are made of tough stuff, or you're extremely flimsy. Signs have recently pointed to the latter. Your next sortie? Your next sortie is more effective, however. Thinking quickly, you pick up a rock and throw it at the trigger root of a spring thorn growing along the path next to where the violet bloods are enduring hurricane cloud. Hurricane clown, not cloud. It's funny because I read clown in my head, but not out loud. Right, so the trap, so he is gonna, so this was the...
Not necessarily. It could go all wrong.
Is that supposed to be violet blood?
I didn't even see it.
It looks like this very specific shade of rose pink pencil that I had one time that, like, wasn't even pink. It was like this really diluted, almost grayish color. Anyway, the coiled stalk springs out, impaling the dude with a 12-foot-long thorns. Oh, so that's probably something spewing out of the plant. Maybe.
No, it impaled the dude.
That isn't even violet.
I don't know, man.
He's thrown off balance, and violet blood begins to flow copiously down his body. That's a hue you haven't seen before. Kind of pretty. Excuse you? But these sea dwellers are made of tough stuff. He yanks the spring thorn stalk away from him, pulling the thorns out, and flings it into the woods. He then takes out a pocket handkerchief and starts patting his injuries gently. Meanwhile, Karako's bladed weapons have not been idle, and the other 2 sea dwellers are likewise leaking violet blood. See, that's more of a purpley violet... Wait. That might be Karako's blood. Anyway, but these bastards are hard to kill. You remember Polypa telling you that. As you watch, one of them grabs one of the bladed weapons from Karako's hand and buries it in Karako's stomach. Okay, let's Karako's blood. I don't like where this is going. Fuck, man. He's gonna... I already knew that they were gonna kick our ass, but he's gonna die. We're gonna die. This is gonna... Death.
This, unsurprisingly, is distracting for a poor little clown, allowing two of the finny sons of bitches to grab handfuls of bladed weapons from his belt and bury them in various parts of his body. You dance around delivering harmless kicks and curses.
No.
Karako is still waving his weapons, but he seems to be waving them more slowly now. Then, as more blood-bladed weapons are buried in his body, he seems to lose focus. The weapons he's been brandishing fall from his hands. Finally, he falls to the ground in the center of a spreading pool of purple blood, twitching feebly for a minute and then is still.
No. 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 No.
I mean, we wanted the bad ending.
No.
You stare in disbelief at the corpse of one who, if he had been spared just a short while longer, would have been your friend. One despised and rejected, a clown of suffering, familiar with pain. They had flogged him and mocked him and spit on him, and then they killed him. You struggle to come to terms with this. While you're doing that, one of the remaining Sea Dwellers grabs you by the hair and suplexes you into the ground. Your head snaps back and pain explodes behind your eyes. You are left lying on your back and trying to stay conscious, which is why you have a good view of what happens next. You about to die. In the dark sky above you, something opens. Something even darker than the sky. A hole like a cave in the clouds?
What the fuck is happening?
I don't even.
Is that the Dark Carnival? What the fuck am I looking at?
It widens until you can see that in the cave a carousel with wooden horses mounted on brass posts rotates, and the horses plunging up and down in time with carnival music played in a mechanical organ. Riding the horses are naked store window mannequins, their legs slung awkwardly over the horses' backs, their stiff arms down by their sides in whatever pose they were created, their horns huge and wildly shaped. In the darkness above the carousel, other naked mannequins with plastic wings tied to their backs are supported on wires, and above these in turn a net of white Christmas tree lights twinkle against the roof of the dark cave or circus tent or whatever it is, throwing their dim starlight illumination down on the rotating carousel.
Are we hallucinating?
I don't know.
The fuck is this?
As you watch, two of the winged mannequins break loose from their wires and fly down from that dark region into the night sky and the dimension Alternia occupies. They maneuver until the stiff hands on the ends of their stuffed arms are underneath Karako, and then they lift him up into the sky and into the dark carnival. You hear a last faint, reviving honk as they set him on one of the wooden horses, and then the hole in the sky closes and there is nothing but the night sky above you.
Did we just see Karako go to heaven?
Yep.
Go to clown heaven?
Yeah. Which seems like a weird place, I'll be perfectly honest. I'm curious to know what's going on in your brain right now. Because you're over there gesticulating wildly. Well, not wildly, but...
I almost wish we had a face cam right now, just because he just went to clown heaven. The clown church, but Caliborn and the fucking snake people, and then Gamzee goes and he.
So I'm assuming the conflict here is that you are under the impression that Clown Heaven wasn't real or something?
That fused with some other stuff. That's like the main. I have multiple things in my head right now, but that's one of the main ones.
Okay.
Because the clown. The clown religion thing was like a fake thing, but it's not a I'm just gonna click the thing.
All is silent and still again. An odd feeling comes over you. You don't think you've ever felt such a feeling, just the reality of how utterly insignificant you are. Sure, you've spent the last few months wandering with no desire but the desire for connection, and you are, in a way, a being unique in this galaxy. But honestly, what does that even mean? You flit in and out of people's lives, there one minute, gone the next, always moving from friend to friend. You are, for all intents and purpose, a virtual non-entity, a bland point-of-view vector, a neutral second-person narrator, barely coming into the picture, a retiring entity, expressing only a simple, one-dimensional desire for friendship.
Is he like coming into terms of being like a?
Maybe.
I'm still fixating on the clown thing, but he. Like whenever he was going all meta before, being like, I'm the main character. Is he like doing that only instead being like, I'm like one of those main characters that doesn't have a personality because the person is supposed to project onto them or something.
Kinda.
We just suck. Fucking dying good. I don't.
But just about now, you feel that things have gone pretty far. And just about now, you feel that you've had about enough. Enough of arrogant high-bloods.
Are we gonna somehow kill them? What the fuck is going on?
Enough, in fact, of short-wavelength hemotypes carelessly and without compunction killing and maiming and exploiting those of longer wavelengths. Of a survival of the fittest regime that seems to come down to survival of the most violent psychopaths. Is this a moral universe, or is it not? You ask yourself. Are repulsive cruelty and sickening evil punished in this universe, or are they not? Does an ethical force operate in the universe, or does it not? You don't know the answer to these questions, but you do know one thing. You intend to depart. You intend to depart for once from your one-dimensional persona. Oh, okay. You're departing for once from your persona. Okay. You intend to punish repulsive cruelty and sickening evil if it comes within your ability to do so. You intend to create an ethical force field in your local region. You intend to exert some moral gravity right around where you are, if you possibly can.
Aren't you dying?
Probably.
What?
And you realize that this odd feeling you're having seems to be drawing moral Higgs bosons out of the moral ground state, and right out of the fabric of this multicolored, blood-soaked planet that heaves under your feet.
What?
I don't know.
What is a boson, and
I don't know what's happening. You take on the aspect of Clown Sarker? The fuck does that mean?
I don't know. My head hurts. I'm still fixating on Karako dying, but I can't even process what the fuck is going on right now.
I think you just got a class change or something. Seizing 2 cans of inexpensive soft drinks from where they fell from Karako's bandoliers, you shake them and pull the pins. Then, with malice aforethought, you direct the twin streams at the sea dwellers. You smell banana and strawberry as the deadly streams play upon them. Already weakened, they fall back with cries under the withering onslaught. As soon as the streams slacken, you take up 2 more cans, shake them, and deal out death to the unrighteous. You smell peach and diet root beer this time, but no pity softens your heart. You wouldn't care even if it were pineapple watermelon. You were spraying on these brutes.
Does main character like pineapple watermelon or dislike?
I think dislike. I thought...
Fuck you, watermelon is great. I don't know about pineapple, because
couldn't tell you. But these finheads are made of tough stuff. Rallying even in the face of this intense onslaught, they push forward and, seizing some bladed weapons from the purple blood pool, advance upon you. Not one step back, you vow to the memory of Karako Piero. You stand your ground, in desperation grabbing some cans of diet tonic water and club soda and opening up your batteries once again. But to no avail.
You better not fucking die again, because you're... We must avenge Karaka! I don't fucking know what's happening.
A trident pierces you to the bone, followed by a scimitar, a tomahawk, a short spear, and so many other bladed weapons that the sheer weight of them drives you to the ground, where your red precious blood flows in moderate streams, mixing with the purple blood of your proto-friend.
No! Get up and kill them.
This is the end, you realize. But you are glad you died in righteous battle. You are glad you created even the tiny, sputtering temporary moral force field in your local region that you did.
No. Get up and kill them.
You can feel your life and narrative point of view slipping away, but you are content.
Get up and what the fuck?
Yet, what's that you see above you now? A dark space has opened up, even darker than the night sky, and 2 stiff-looking winged figures are descending.
What the fuck?
They land next to you and gently place their stiff hands under you. Then they ascend once again, lifting you higher and higher into the darker space.
Now we're going to clown heaven?
Yeah, because we took on a clown aspect earlier.
So we're a clown now?
Yeah.
Okay.
As you pass the boundary of the heavenly carnival, your life seems to revive within you. And as the fabric of the place closes around you, and the 2 stiff mannequins place you on a carousel horse next to Karako, you realize that planets, universes, dimensions, realities, powers, principalities, and cosmos come and go, but friendship is forever.
Is this the good route?
No.
Did the good route involve us dying?
I don't think so.
Did the good route involve us getting Karako murdered? I can't deal with this.
Friendship.
Excuse me.
I mean, that's the sad music, though, isn't it?
It doesn't play music at all whenever we die, I thought. Does it? No, yes it does. No, it does. Wait.
I don't know.
I'm confused.
I'm Shelby.
We're in clown heaven. I don't fucking...
I didn't know you could class change into a clown.
Maybe it's because we went to clown church before, so it was...
Maybe. So is this the good route?
I don't know.
I'm good. Okay.
I don't understand anything that just happened. We just got carried off by Valkyries to clown heaven, and we're...
I don't like
Are
clown
we
heaven,
still
by the way.
dead? I mean, I like how it's a carousel. That's cool, but I thought it was supposed to be like scary clowns, not pleasant carousel. I mean, it's random and weird, and I don't know if there's more to it than just random fucking carousel. I am so fucking confused right now. I don't understand anything that just happened.
Me neither.
What the fuck is going on with MC right now? You know, MSPA reader, main character guy.
Yeah.
And this fucking... What the... Don't... understand anything.
Maybe if we go to the other route, it'll not help us at all to understand.
Well, if we go to the other route, we might figure out if this was the good route or the bad route, so...
Maybe.
See you guys in the next thing. What? I don't understand what the fucking... Bye!
Goodbye.